watch last night, but they will bounce back for sure. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on air and streaming on the KARE 11 app here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Jason Hackett alongside Alicia Lewis. We are starting out at 72 degrees, so a little bit warmer than it was yesterday outside.
Well, 72 still is nice.
Not bad.
I mean, no complaints from us. Let's get out to Tucker. The fair is Thursday. All eyes on that fair forecast, too, for what days to go.
Of course. I know. We're getting close. And the good news is that the chance for storms here, this kind of humid and less comfortable weather, we're getting it out of the way at the right time. Because, you know, when we get storms, usually it's very nice weather that comes after. And that is the case today. So we're starting the morning off here with temps that are mild with some humidity too. You'll feel that when you step outside. It's not going to hit you hard, but you'll be like, oh yeah, feels like summer. I can feel the humidity in the air. Nothing crazy though. Temperatures here sitting in the 60s. We got a few clouds out. Sun will be out though as we get into the later morning here, and that's what's going to help to generate some storm chances later on. I will say though, it looks dry for the vast majority of us. The best chance for storms will be here along 35 into the Arrowhead and out in north and western Wisconsin. But we'll give you a closer look at the timeline and we'll talk about the storms when I'm back next. I'm going to send it inside to Megan. Traffic.
Hey, good morning. 6:02 is your time right now. Let's take a look outside here. This is a look at I-94 eastbound over near Franklin Avenue. It looks like they're doing some construction work out in the area this morning. It looks like there might be a light pole here that's tilted on its side. So, or actually that's part of the construction truck, but it looks like they're working on some kind of light pole or maybe a sign out in that area. So keeping an eye on that, but you can see that drivers are having to get over just into the left lane here, causing a little bit of slowing. If this work does continue, I'll keep an eye on it because this area will probably get much busier throughout the morning and we'll probably see some more slowing in this area. Other than that though, really not a lot of issues right now. That's where you're seeing that slowing there as you go into Minneapolis this morning, but you can see lots of green. Other than that, I will talk to you about some overnight closures that we're looking ahead to on 94 and 394. That's going to be tomorrow, so I'll tell you what to expect when I see you next.
Megan, thank you. Let's get to the top story of the morning. Canadian leaders are expected to strike back at President Trump with new tariffs on the U.S.
This is in reaction to a 50% tariff on $20 billion worth of Canadian exports to the U.S. Audrey Russo's at the live desk with what you can expect. Good morning, Audrey.
Good morning. That 50% tariff on those $20 billion worth of goods represents about 5% of U.S. imports from Canada. So that alone shows you how interconnected the U.S.-Canadian trade partnership really is, or was. Now President Trump is accusing Canada of ripping off the U.S., and Canada's Prime Minister argues that the U.S. is trying to destroy his country's major industries. Now, in the last 24 hours, Prime Minister Mark Carney has vowed to employ tariffs. He says his country may take a more targeted approach to protect Canadian businesses rather than matching the U.S. tariffs dollar for dollar. Now, the U.S. tariffs focus on a unique assortment of Canadian goods ranging from refrigerators to hockey sticks to alcohol. Now, economic experts say they won't break the bank for Minnesotans yet, but since Minnesota imports nearly $13 billion of goods from Canada and about 65% of it is energy, they say some industries here will start to feel the squeeze.
In a rural state like Minnesota, those energy prices really hit hard. I mean, they hit farmers, they hit producers. As a border state, we feel this more acutely. As a border state, we have probably deeper relationships with Canada, both culturally and economically.
Now, Senator Amy Klobuchar echoed those concerns in a statement, arguing that the president's tariffs, quote, are raising costs and increasing uncertainty for families, farmers, workers, and small businesses. Minnesota House Speaker Lisa Damuth encouraged the president to restart talks with the Canadian government, quote, so Minnesota businesses and consumers are not hurt. As of this morning, no further talks have been scheduled. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. We do have an update on breaking news we first brought you on Sunrise yesterday morning. Minneapolis police say a fight turned into stabbing, sending 3 people to the hospital. Police say it happened at around 2:30 in the morning near the McDonald's on East Lake Street. Officers say the men used broken bottles as weapons. That fight just 24 hours after 2 other stabbings in Minneapolis. Experts say crime, specifically assaults, are still trending down nationally and in Minneapolis, but there's more work that needs to be done.
That aggravated assault number, not unique to Minneapolis, but also nationally, we'd like to see that come down more because that reduces the likelihood. It's less likely to end in a fatality.
MPD says they will be presenting cases for probable cause riot charges for all 3 men involved in yesterday's stabbing.
Turning now to this bizarre and tragic story. This morning, investigators in Hopkins are trying to figure out how a utility pole fell on a passing car, killing the driver and sparking a massive fire. This is video from the scene on Sunday. Authorities tell us the fire was sparked by a transformer attached to the utility pole when it fell. Witnesses say because of the electricity there wasn't much they could do to save the driver. Neighbors say they've reached out in the past about getting that pole fixed.
How is there a leaning pole and over 50 people have said something about it and there's still nothing being done about it?
In the statement here, Xcel Energy says the pole was inspected recently and met all safety standards. Right now, we're working to learn more about when that inspection took place and what those specific safety standards are.
At midnight, the deadline passed for Republican gubernatorial candidate Mike Lindell to file and pay for a hand recount of this month's primary results. Lindell did not concede the race after Lisa Dameth won by nearly 45,000 votes. Last week, he said he was going to request a recount over, quote, irregularities, but this morning he says he'll be taking legal action instead. In a statement from Lindell's campaign, Lindell makes several claims the recount process was changed to only include recounts for two candidates, him and Dameth. However, Lindell says he found alleged anomalies affecting all GOP candidates. Lindell's team also described the recount as one of the biggest in history.
Well, tonight in Plymouth, city leaders are holding a special meeting to discuss data centers. It appears tonight's discussion will be informational to help determine the future of data centers in the city. It's not clear if Plymouth is planning to build a new one, but several cities across the state have faced backlash over their plans due to concerns like higher electric bills and noise pollution. Tonight's meeting starts at 5.
As the first day of school is getting closer, one of the largest teachers unions is urging teachers and families to boycott Target and get their school supplies from another store. The American Federation of Teachers says the boycott's in response to Target not publicly condemning ICE activity in Minnesota. We reached out to Target. They mentioned this open letter from January that included signatures of 60 CEOs from Minnesota-based companies, including Target, urging a de-escalation of tensions during the ICE surge. But AFT says that letter did not take a stance against ICE.
We said that stand up for the community. And if you don't stand up for community, we gave them plenty of time. This was in the winter for back to school. And we said, if you don't stand up for the community, we're going to stand other places to shop.
AFT says each of their nearly 2 million members spend about $900 of their own money on supplies every year. They created a website where members can submit their zip codes to see other retailers offering back-to-school shopping.
Developing right now, more than 60 Allina hospice nurses are threatening to walk off the job. The union announcing 100% of those workers voted yes to a 7-day strike. The union hasn't scheduled the strike yet and must give Allina 10 days notice. The union says negotiations stalled after more than a year of bargaining for their first contract with the health system. This as Attorney General Keith Ellison reviews a proposed merger between Allina and California-based Sutter Health. In a statement, Allina says negotiations will include assistance from a federal mediator and will pick up again on Friday. The health system adds, quote, "We must ensure we reach a sustainable agreement, which is best done through good faith negotiations at the bargaining table."